Welcome back to Fold in the Cheese. It's your boy K Troll on the mic today. We are previewing Week 5 in the NFL, and I'm excited today because this is a personal favorite of mine. I'm joined today, as always, by the Odysseus to my Achilles.
Stay, Achilles. You were born for this war. Things are less simple today. Women have a way of complicating things. Of all the kings of Greece, I respect you the most.
That's right. We're talking Troy today.
Okay.
Troy, throwback.
Yeah, when you were talking about which theme we're doing today, I came up with one which I thought was a good one, but you said, nay, I want to do Troy. I was like, wow, okay. Random throwback, but I'm not hating on it. It's a good movie. It's a solid flick. I liked it.
Yeah.
It's just one that, I've probably seen once and maybe twice, like pieces of it. But again, just not one I was like off the tip of my head, like, yes, Troy.
I'm just telling you, it's I know it's super weird, and it's kind of like that movie Basic I was talking about, but
that's right.
There's certain movies that I just like to rewatch,
Oh yeah.
And Troy is just one of them. I took a Greek mythology class in college. I was always just kind of always interested in the stories and like the characters and all that kind of stuff. Achilles is just such a badass. I just think he's the coolest.
That's
of course,
prime Brad Pitt too, man. That's
of course it's Brad Pitt, yeah, and in his prime. So it's like it's just an awesome movie. I think I'm not even going to say like the acting's all that great necessarily, but the story is obviously great. A true Greek mythology moment.
I mean, granted, I did not take a Greek mythology course. Is it quote unquote accurate? I mean, as accurate as a movie with Brad Pitt and
decently.
every man that can be. And,
yeah. Of course, there's the creative liberties or whatever, right? Artistic liberties, but yes, it is relatively accurate
in terms of Greek mythology. Because again, this is not like
it's accurate. Yeah, in terms of
mythology for a reason.
Like the timetable is way accelerated.
Right,
it's a war that took like years.
I was gonna say, how long was the actual war?
I think it was like several years.
Was it really not just 3 days?
Not 3 days.
Just 3 days.
So I mean, like there's some stuff like that they skip through. Obviously, like the altar girl and all that whole stuff is. I don't think that's real. She's a love interest at some point here, but yeah, the idea of the main characters, the reason I'm not even certain that it was entirely because of Paris and Helen. I don't even know that was like entirely it.
I thought she was the face that launched 1,000 ships, man. I thought that was like the thing.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, yeah, they certainly could have chalked it up to that.
Sure.
But as you can, even in the movie, they're talking about like he's been wanting to try and take on Troy for a long time.
Right. Old Agamemnon. First of all, I love that it's Brian Cox.
I know.
One of just my favorite roles Brian Cox has ever had is Super Troopers. I mean, first of all,
yes,
that's a great flick. Have we not been Super Troopers yet? Because
I don't think we have. I feel like we did the meow one time during an episode just for fun, but I don't think we were actually the characters.
Okay, that might have to come up soon.
That's coming up. You say shenanigans one more time.
Hey Farva, what's that? Anyway,
Brian shenanigans.
Shenanigans. Oh,
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hey Farva, what's the name of that restaurant you like with all the goofy shit on the walls and the mozzarella sticks? You mean shenanigans? Oh, you're talking about shenanigans, right?
Put those away.
Yeah, for whatever reason, even though Brian Cox is a very highly credited actor with lots of big time roles, always
that's the role. You remember
Super Troopers?
Yeah, I'm currently watching Succession, so I've got him as Logan, as the patriarch of the Succession series or whatever. So yeah,
interesting.
He's crushing that currently.
How old is Brian Cox? I guess is my question.
I hope that's not a trivia question. I don't know.
Oh crap! I mean, that's coming up later.
74. Are you looking it up right now? You're looking it up right now.
I was trying to think. I was like, should I look this up? I will not. I'm just surprised he's alive. I'm just happy he is because he's great. He's just great.
He is great. He's fantastic. So yeah, that movie's great. You should check it out. I mean, it's got all the fighting you want to see. It's got Brad Pitt just dominating, doing some super cool stuff. The effects are pretty cool.
Because for the time, the effects are pretty ridiculous, and like just the landscapes and just the scenes itself were pretty good. It was pretty massive. Obviously, when you're talking about a Trojan War and 1,000 ships and stuff, that was probably, so it was what, 2004, 2003 when that movie came out?
Yep.
So that was probably just at the kind of the groundbreaking for CGI. It's like, look how many ships we can put in the background of this shot.
That's right. Yeah, that's true. They had just remade the Star Wars movies like a couple years earlier, the first one,
Yeah.
And so you're kind of like, oh, we got skills now.
Look what we can do.
Look what we can do. That's pretty sick. I like it.
Pretty good. Nice.
Not a ton to cover as far as news around the NFL, which is a good thing. God, there's been so many injuries, and there aren't a million updates either. You'll probably get them later today. So if you're listening to this in the afternoon, check your rosters to see what kind of practice updates you get. But a lot of the same people that were questionable going into the week didn't practice yesterday.
Right.
A lot of veteran rest days, as I've said, like on Wednesdays a lot. So not a ton of updates there, or like limited practices, which never mean anything to me. Like a limited practice could be literally anything. So
yeah, it kind of, sorry, just a little side story. So when I was working at Penn State, we had a player who was great. Like she was a baller. She went like game time. You want her in your lineup, but for lack of a better term, like she was basically, she's probably 20 years old, but in a 45-year-old's body. Like her knees were just so old and cranky and just all that. So basically, like whenever we went on the road, she would never do shoot around. She would never do like practice the day before a game, just because we wanted to have her fresh. So it's kind of like that same idea. It's like limited practice. Like, nah, I'm not practicing, but don't worry, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna feel it for 3 days later, but kind of the same idea. So me and Nixon,
wild. We're talking about practice.
Great player, me and Nixon. We miss having you out there.
Yeah, I hope you're listening.
Yes.
Okay, there are some big names to cover though, real quick, and we'll just roll through these because they're fairly sizable updates here. Jonathan Taylor, the big news came out yesterday. He is going to miss Thursday Night Football tonight, so hope you got backup plans there. It seems like Nyheim Hines would be the main beneficiary. They've got Phillip Lindsay, who I'm not excited about. They've got Deion Jackson, who is a total unknown. So Nyheim Hines is obviously more of a pass catching back than he is an every down back. So you don't know for sure if he can handle like a full workload. But I think they're probably going to air it out more, which is good for people like Michael Pittman, Alec Pierce.
Please be good for Michael Pittman. Please be good for Michael Pittman.
Please be good for Michael Pittman. I'm with you on that. So it could be good for Nyheim Hines too, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like he's kind of showing out because he's always just been there. He's always been the backup. He's always been a backup. So it's like, no, I can shoulder a load. Now it's just the time to do it. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's been very disappointing so far. Now with him out, Nyheim Hines, show what you can do, man.
Let's see it, man. Let's see it. I think Taylor will probably be back next week, but we'll see. Yeah. Russell Wilson had that injury. He's good to go. I think he's going to expect to play tonight.
Good to go.
No worries there. I'm really interested to see him. Like one thing I heard in one of the podcasts I listened to the other day was a reminder that I needed to hear, which was, man, this actually happens to him almost every season. He has these lulls where he just kind of disappears. And a lot of times it's the beginning of the season.
Is it?
And you're always freaked out. And you're always like, I got to drop Russell Wilson. He's done, But he's not old enough to be like toast, and he doesn't run that much anymore. So you don't have to worry about like wear and tear. So you're just like, why would he be done?
Right. I had him a couple years ago. I want to say like 2 or 3. And I also had Tom Brady on my team. So I initially was just starting Brady because I was like, that's Tom Brady. But Russ was just lighting it up and I would always get burned. But then I just felt like whenever I started Russ, it must have been during one of those lulls and he would always just burn me. I'm like, ugh. So it's just interesting that you say he's going through his lull, but I got to disagree. I feel like it's not usually at the beginning. I feel like he usually starts off pretty hot, goes into a little bit of lull, then comes back strong again.
Maybe.
Flashback to my championship season in our league. The only reason why I think of this is remember Doug Baldwin?
Oh, yeah. I loved Doug Baldwin, man. I always drafted Doug Baldwin.
So I had him on my team, and he wasn't a starter for me in the first half of the season because I had like Calvin Johnson, I had Julio Jones.
Name dropper.
But so he wasn't starting for me. But basically from the second half of the season on, he was literally the best wide receiver in the game. He was getting like 2-3 touchdowns a game. Russ was just looking for him the entire time. So it was after that lull, basically half the season, and then bam, it was all Russ and Doug Baldwin the rest of the way.
Dude, he was a freaking touchdown maker, and he was PPR as well. Like he was he was like a perfect PPR wide receiver, and he was a total stud. Yeah. I'm hopeful. I can go back and check and see like when Russ has his lulls historically, because if you go back in previous years, especially in our Yahoo League, I know we can do this. I can pull up the game logs from each year and see when it happened. I've owned him so many times. I've always been on him. So I'm sure I could go back and tell you. But I do remember that he does have these lulls. It's been painful. It's been painful, and you expected so much early. But I will say the Javonte Williams injury could actually help him. If you got one less mouth to feed in the running game, I think Javonte's a thumper. You're expecting that you just hand him the ball and let him do his early down work. Like, if you don't have that option anymore, Melvin Gordon is still a really solid running back, but like, he's not getting 30 carries a week, and that's basically what the two of them were getting. And I don't think they're going to split it among Latavius Murray and Mike Boone. I mean, I think Murray will get second crack probably, but
I'm just still so shocked Latavius Murray is on the Broncos after getting a touchdown and 60 yards the previous week for another team.
Dude, the Saints didn't protect him on the practice squad. How stupid was that?
That was dumb.
That was dumb. Dumb Saints.
Dumb Saints.
So yeah, I think that it could help Russ throw the ball around a little bit more, including to Melvin. So
true.
Maybe it's just eternal optimist in me, always trying to look at the bright side, but I think it could be a good thing.
Okay. Well, speaking of Russ, why don't we dive into our Pigskin Pick'em picks? A little bit of a rough week for me last week. I knew this kind of going in. As soon as I made my picks, I was like, this could either be the biggest thing for me, like I could just then blow this thing up, or get blown up. And it was the latter. I got blown up.
You got blown up.
I see you circling that 70 points, meaning I got 7 correct picks. Yes. I missed on a couple close ones, obviously, like the Ravens Bills. I was a toss-up, could have gone either way. My one big regret, and just the one, so I'll own this one, was the Commanders over the Cowboys. Yes, that was pretty dumb. I was going dumb. Wild West style, but it did not. It proved to be like Wild West, a complete flop. So you see what I did there? I kind of tied that in. I was pretty proud of myself for that.
That was not your finest work.
That was pretty good. No, I'm saying my Wild West and Wild West tie-in. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Good saying.
Anyway. Sing the whole song. Jim West, Desperado, Rough Rider. We don't want nada. Yeah. None of this. 6 gun in this, brother running this.
Wow.
Buffalo Soldier, look, it's like I told you.
We'll have to do some Wild West trivia next week for you.
Yeah, here we go. Just the song. Song and just the first verse. How about a girl Leslie here? Absolutely crushed it last week. 13 Greg picks. She jumped into the lead. She's now ahead of everybody by 2 points.
Crushing everybody. Like, again, we just got to stop calling people out because they literally just put it on their bulletin boards and just blow it up. So we should stop doing that.
I'm just Mr. Steady Eddie here. Look at me go. Just 80, 90, 90, 100. Like, maybe I'm working my way up.
I was going to say, you're slowly going up. I go like this.
Yeah, you're like,
So, yeah, and Kyle. Wow. So Kyle, week 1
look at him.
So bad. Bad.
He's really bouncing around.
He is.
Oh, man. Good times. It's a long season, but good on you, Kyle. Well done this week. Yep. Got a little side action on that. Good job, Kyle.
Good job, Kyle.
We'll get you back this week. Let's make some picks.
Let's make these picks now. Let's start it off. Going to Denver on Thursday night. The Colts without Jonathan Taylor versus a banged up Russell Wilson and no Javonte Williams. What's going to happen, Kemp?
2-star running backs out in this matchup. Makes it kind of interesting. I'm going to take the home team on a short week and take the Broncos. 2 decent defenses here, too. The Broncos have been a really good defense. The Colts have historically been a good defense, have struggled a little bit this year. But I think they're going to have trouble without the threat of the running game. If you don't even have that threat, then you don't have to keep the defense honest. And I think the secondary of the Broncos will do a decent enough job. I am hopeful that Pittman will get his, but yeah, I'm going Broncos.
Yeah, I think one thing that's kind of getting lost with Broncos and the whole Russell Wilson offense struggling thing is that the defense is actually playing really well. So they're the ones keeping them in games. So yeah, right. It's going to be a defensive matchup here at home. I like Denver with their defense and what they'll be able to do against a Jonathan Taylor-less offense. And even Michael Pittman's still a little bit banged up. He's not at 100%. So going Broncos as well.
Yeah. All right. How about the Giants traveling to Green Bay, taking on the Packers?
Man, I mean, the world is making this a landslide, but after last week,
3-1 teams, man.
I mean, after last week and how the Packers played against the Patriots, I mean, that was a little concerning for me, just because the Patriots should not have been in that game whatsoever, especially when they go down to their 3rd string quarterback, who, let's be honest, probably should be the number 2 anyway. But they struggled on offense again. You know, a pick 6 for A-Raj, and just had to go to overtime literally in the last minute. It's just, but again, on the flip side, you could say they're grinding them out. They're winning these close games. Like, they're winning them. They're finding a way to win. Tough teams, you find that extra gear just to get that extra push. But man, it's concerning. I'm going to go with the Packers hesitantly, just because I know on the flip side, Saquon's playing great, but Daniel Jones got banged up, and then Tyrod Taylor got banged up.
Yeah.
Saquon said he was next up in line to be QB. He did actually line up in the Wildcat, but obviously
He did.
the Wildcat. So just I don't know.
Hugh
Just the
Davis
Packers-
Webb, their actual third string quarterback, is like, hey, I actually do play
I
quarterback.
actually
Like,
am a quarterback. That's
I
literally
can
my job.
and would love to play.
Put Saquon in. No, put Saquon in.
But
He's fine.
Thanks, Davis. Go back to the practice squad. I'm going to go with Packers as well for everything you just said. I have more faith than you do. I know they have not looked good. They are getting it done. They are getting the job done. And the Giants just have no weapons other than Saquon. And he's been good enough to get them 3 wins by himself, basically. So that's got to say something. But the Packers are a different defense. I think they're better than the Bears and Commanders and Dallas and that. Like, I mean, they're probably the same as Dallas, really. But yeah, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with the Pack on this one.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Now we got the Steelers traveling to Buffalo. It can't even be a revenge game for Mitch Trubisky. So what do we think's going to happen?
Woof. Look at the world. Says 97%. Hey, Kenny Pickett, we want you to be our starter. Here's your first game. Buffalo.
At Buffalo. Not even just at home. At Buffalo.
It's not in December. So, I mean, it could be worse. But, yeah. Man, that's rough. He's actually got 4 rough games to start his career here. Because I think he's got Tampa next week. And then they've got, like, I forget who it is. It's like Miami and
it's quite the gauntlet.
Baltimore or something like. I don't know, but I actually think they're 4 really good defenses. Not even Miami and Baltimore, but like I think they're really good defenses. So he's got it pretty rough. Might be Philly. So anyway, I'm gonna go with
Pittsburgh. So you're going with Pittsburgh.
What I'm hearing is you like Kenny Pickett. I'm going with the Bills on this one. Take care of business. I am very interested to see how Pickett does, though.
I am not going to be picking against the Bills anytime in the near future, just because the one time I did, again, it was a close game. They actually should have lost that game, but yeah, especially not this one at home against Kenny Pickett. So.
Yeah. How about the Chargers heading to Cleveland to take on the Browns?
So coming into last week, it was kind of the opposite, where the Cleveland was going up, LA's going down, but Cleveland got brought back down to earth by Atlanta of all teams. So that was kind of saying, nope, this is where the Cleveland Browns should be. Here they are. Chargers again. I think Herbert's going to slowly getting healthier. Alson Eckler finally broke out. Maybe this will be kind of the breaking of the dam for him. So I'm going to go Chargers on the road.
This is a tougher pick than I think you just made it sound like for me. I'm still not totally confident in the Chargers, and Keenan Allen's still not healthy, and I don't think he's going to play. So that matters. Gerald Everett has been great. Mike Williams has had 2 good games in a row. Eckler seems to be, at least from last week, he's back. We'll see which Eckler shows up this week. The Browns are keeping every game close.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the spread is here. It's probably close to a pick 'em. They may be a slight underdog at home, which I hate to pick against an underdog at home, but I'm with you. I think I have more faith in the Chargers. It wouldn't surprise me if the Browns win this game.
I was going to say, just as soon as you start giving faith to the Chargers, they'll just say, nope, you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Let's see. The line is 2.5 to the Chargers.
Yeah. So I don't like a home underdog. I mean, that's bulletin board material right there. But I think I'm going to go with the talent in the Chargers. I don't know. I would actually consider taking a money line bet on the Browns in the sportsbook on that one. Okay,
well, if you're taking the talent on the Chargers, clearly you're just focusing on talent. So you're going to go with the Bears and Justin Fields, is what you're saying.
That's raw talent. That is he's the only talented player they have. Okay. Yeah, this one, I don't know. I mean, the Bears have been hanging in games, honestly, and the Vikings have been hanging in them in the wrong way. Like, they're
keeping
barely beating teams they should be beating by more.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Vikings again, but again, probably a close game. They're just not. Their offense is not as high octane as I hoped it would be and expected it to be. I want to see Dalvin Cook involved in the passing game. I want to see him really get his rhythm going. Maybe this is the spot.
I think one surprising thing, at least for me, but maybe not, it's just because he's getting older, is Adam Thielen. I feel like you haven't heard his name at all this year. And so I think you're right. The offense has not been as high octane as everyone expected it to be. But I don't see the Bears being able to keep up in Minnesota. So going off of raw talent, I'm going to go with the Vikings here.
Yeah. How about the Lions and the Pats? Oh no, house divided. What are you going to do?
So I'm torn. I'm torn for many reasons, and it's mainly because of the Lions. Because I feel like have I picked the Lions every week? I don't think I have. We'll have to roll the tape back, but man, they're just so disappointing. And it's like for some weird reasons. Like the offense has not been disappointing. They're leading the league in offense. Again,
Yeah.
they had that NFL record for touchdowns scored in consecutive quarters. Jared Goff is officially the #1 rated fantasy quarterback. Like all the things on offense is going right. They did that last week without DeAndre Swift. Anyway, but they keep losing. And that's, for this reason, it's just like, the Patriots are being sneaky and staying in games. Again, they had no reason to stay in Green Bay in that game. They had 0. So the Patriots are now just kind of that annoying team. They're not going to be good, but they're going to surprise you sometimes and cause you to lose games like this. I'm going to stay on the Lion train just because of that offense. And again, if the Patriots fall in a hole, they cannot keep up, especially with Zap being their quarterback now.
You don't know that?
I mean,
you don't know that? The kid's a gunslinger.
He is a gunslinger, but of the 24 points they scored last week, 7 of them were from the defensive end. And I know Zap didn't come in until later, but still.
He threw a touchdown.
He did throw a touchdown. Congrats.
That tells me he scored as many points as any other quarterback.
Anyway, I'm going Detroit on the road.
So, unlike Kenny Pickett getting his first start against Buffalo, Bailey Zappi gets his first start against Detroit. Totally different ball game here.
Yes.
I agree with everything you just said. I agree with it. And I think this is a prime spot for Belichick to beat a team he absolutely should not beat.
You're taking New England.
Why not? I'm taking New England. Let's go, Bailey. And it's going to be heartbreaking when they win, and you're going to be so mad at yourself.
Again, this is going to be that game like, son of a bitch. Like, damn it.
I will, on the air, I will trade you picks right now if you want to. I will allow you to trade picks.
I appreciate it. No, I'm going to stick with it.
Okay.
Because, again, like,
listen, I don't feel good about it, but I also know like the Patriots can run the ball, and the Lions cannot stop the run at all. That is what the Patriots do well. And I think it's just going to be a total smash game for Damien Harris and Ramondre Stevenson. I think they're both just going to blow it up.
Very valid points. You are not wrong. And I know you make fun of me because I throw this term around like all the time, the must-win thing. But honestly, this is a must-win for the Lions because the way they've been losing to the teams they shouldn't be, like, you got to win this one. You got to, at this point, it's about wins and losses. It's not, we're getting better. We're all in with such a good feel. No, you got to win. And this is a game you now need to win.
If they keep losing these close games, there's nothing different from last year. And you have to show progress, I
mean, yeah. Anyway.
So, yeah.
All right.
Woof.
My turn. All right. Do I go first? You go first? I'm all thrown off. I'll just give it to you.
Let's go on this one.
All right. Seattle at New Orleans. Just pick it.
I'm taking the Saints at home. It's a home game, cross country for Seattle. You know how I feel about that.
You do not.
Kamara's healthy. I think he's going to have a big game. And I think Olave will be tough for Seattle to handle.
I, too, am going with the Saints a lot because of the defense. I mean, I know Seattle scored 48 points last week, but that was against Detroit. It's a little different. Saints, again, they hung in last week with the Vikes, and that was being completely depleted.
Double doinker, man.
You said what?
They lost by a double doinker. That's the only reason they didn't take that game in overtime.
It was so funny. They showed a screenshot of like the players that were watching the field goal, so you can't see it, but you just see the players' faces. So it shows at the first doink, at the second doink. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to New Orleans mainly because of the defense and playing at home.
Okay, I agree. Gino's been playing really well. We'll see how that goes.
Yes, Gino in a bottle.
How about Miami heading to New York to take on the Jets? We got Teddy Bridgewater, quarterback in Miami. We got Zach Wilson, second start of the year.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Teddy Bridgewater-led Dolphins, again, just because I think they're still a more well-rounded team. And again, as we talked about it last episode, Teddy Bridgewater is a completely competent quarterback and can completely step right in. Look for Mike Gesicki, just because I feel like whenever these backup QBs come in from Miami, that's who they go to. And Teddy's a smart guy. He's a smart player, so you might not see as many huge plays from him, but he can lead you down the field, and a lot of it's going to be Gesicki and just kind of getting those possessions and getting longer drives. So I like the Dolphins here. Again, it's just Zach Wilson's second start back, so we got to see a little bit more from him before I can put a little faith in the Jets.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. Bridgewater is a pretty conservative quarterback too, so you're going to see a lot of shorter stuff. That can benefit Waddle and Hill too. They're just going to have to run after the catch, I'm also going to go with the Dolphins. I think the defense is better. I think these teams have got a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball. I'm excited about both of them. I think they're both going in the right direction offensively. But I agree with you. I think the defense is going to be the difference for the Dolphins.
Okay. All right, now we got your Falcons traveling to the Bucks. Tom Brady, yikes. They're 2-2 right now.
Dude, this is funny because the Falcons are a team that should not have won any games, and they've won 2. And the Bucks, you think on paper at least, should not have lost any games. They've lost 2. So, like, this is one of those weird games where I'll be annoyed when the Falcons keep it close and have a chance to win, but I got to go Bucks. They're getting healthy finally.
Yeah.
Godwin's back, and I think
Godwin's
he's
back.
good to go. Evans is back and angry. The Falcons still can't get Kyle Pitts going for whatever reason. I don't know. And without Cordero Patterson, like the run game's not going to be a big threat, so.
Yeah. I mean, I was just going to say no Cordero. Who would ever thought like 3 or 4 years ago, us saying no Cordero Patterson? Oh my God.
I know, right?
It's over. So yeah, but I mean, in our faces the past 2 years, he's been ridiculous. So legit and ridiculous at the same time. I'm going to stop saying that it's Fournette's finally going to come and show out rushing wise, because I'm just going to stop.
Yeah, we'll see it when we see it.
But
it is a revenge game for Julio. Look out.
Watch out. So yes, Tampa at home. Going Tampa.
Yep. How about my Titans?
I'm done. I'm not doing Commanders ever again. Not doing Commanders ever again. Tennessee. That's it. I'm done. I'm done.
You don't want to think about Carson Wentz on this one, or
no? Wild Wentz is dead to me.
Truthfully, this is the week he would have a good week for sure, because their secondary gives up a lot of yards. And Matt Ryan threw for 350 and 2 touchdowns, I think, against him. So Carson Wentz will probably have himself a nice little day. But I got to go with my Titans, man. They're rolling right now. No Traylon Burks. That does hurt a little bit, but they don't seem to really care who the receivers are.
Nope.
Tannehill will throw to literally anybody. So there's something wrong in Washington. I'm not like 100% confident in this one, but I'm going to go Titans.
Okay, good. Titans.
All
right, now we got an interesting one. Texans Jags. At the beginning, probably thought both of these teams would be 0 for right now, but neither are 0 for 4.
Well, yeah. I would have preseason. I would have said this would be a tie, and they would both be 0-4-1 and 0-4-2 or whatever. But I mean, the Jags are rolling, dude. I like what I'm seeing out of Jacksonville. I think Trevor Lawrence has taken a big step forward, and he's got some good weapons. I talked about this last time. Like, I feel like it's a Moneyball team. They're not big names. They're probably overpaid, whatever, but like they're getting it done. Mm-hmm. And so I'm in on the Jags.
Yeah,
this will probably be a tight game because Houston's been hanging with people too. 2 underrated defenses here. Probably a low scoring game ish, but yeah, I'm gonna go Jags, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was just fun to see the Jags hang with the Eagles last week. Eagles are one of the best defenses of the league, just one of the best teams, kind of overall, just solid. So they were right there with them. They could have gone either way. So yeah, it's great to see the steps they've made, and I will like to see that continue against Houston. I think it will.
Yep. How about the Niners heading to Carolina to take on the Panthers?
I mean, if you're hoping that Sam Darnold is coming back from the IR and you're disappointed when he's not, that says a lot. So I'm going with San Fran. San Fran looked good on Monday night against the Rams. I mean, their defense is absurd, and they're going to just eat Baker Mayfield alive. Spoiler alert, I chose the San Francisco 49er defense in our pick'em league. So
nice. Yeah, they're money right now. Garoppolo, I like Garoppolo under center for them. It's a steadying,
another steady Eddie, man.
He knows how to run the offense. They're comfortable with it.
Yeah,
the team just plays better that way. Not that they couldn't have done well with Trey Lance, and we never really got to see it. But I think it's the same Niners team it was last year, and it's a dangerous team. So give me them Niners.
So I know we don't typically talk about announcers as much, but I love Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. I think they're a great duo. And so it's just listening to them. It was still, I think, a 1-possession game, and it was in the fourth quarter. The Niners had the ball, and I loved just what they were talking about Jimmy G. Like, Kyle Shanahan is a smart coach, they're gonna run the ball a lot here. They're gonna run down the clock because they don't want Jimmy G to make an enemy of himself. They know he can get a little excited. So, and just hearing that's like,
he can get a little excited.
You're right. They're not gonna let him hurt himself here. So hand that ball off, or just give it a Debo.
Yeah, they're not Romo, but they're good.
Yeah, they're not Romo, but I like them.
Speaking of Romo, how about Dallas heading to LA to take on the Rams?
Man, so how about Cooper Rush is the first quarterback in Cowboys history to win his first 4 starts ever. You've got some big names in Dallas history, and he is the first to win all 4.
Legend.
So it's it's kind of one of those teams like stop picking against them where you just think this would be a runaway. But the Rams have looked terrible. Like on Monday night, they looked listless. The offense looked so out of sync. You have to throw the ball to Cooper Kupp 19 times in order just to get the ball down the field. Stafford's off.
Hey, Allen
Oh.
Robinson caught 2 for 7 yards. Don't forget about him.
He saved me. He saved me. You know what? Screw it, Cowboys.
What do you mean, screw it? Of course the Cowboys are going to win this
Of
game. The Rams
course.
are garbage. They are straight garbage. I'm taking the Cowboys as well. I don't know why the world is 69% Rams.
Yeah.
Like, if you hate Cooper Rush, that's on you, man. He's getting the job done. The
Yes,
offense
he
looks
is.
competent.
It's a QB controversy.
The defense is good, and they're going to get after Matthew Stafford too. He's going to have people in his face the whole game. I have not seen anything from the Rams that makes me comfortable picking them.
No.
No way.
Defenses looks porous, and then again, the offense is just there's no run game. Anyway, yeah, gross.
Probably another low scoring game, but
Yes,
I
true.
don't want it. And like a home game for LA is not really a home game. Like
No.
they've shown that they will sell more tickets to the opposing team. So
Of course,
Dallas fans are everywhere.
they're gonna be there. All right, now we got the bird battle.
Battle of the
Cards
birds.
I like how they're facing the opposite direction. Like, no, I don't want to look at you, other bird.
I wish it was a home game for the Eagles. And
I
they
was
could
just gonna
face
say
each other.
if it was a
Yeah.
home game for Philly. What's gonna happen?
So, yeah, I mean the Cardinals are looking better. They're turning things around a little bit, but man, I'm all in on the Eagles, dude.
Yeah.
I'm on this hype train until they lose, man. I'm a believer. Both sides of the ball.
Yep, same here. Eagles, man. Until they prove us wrong, there's no reason to pick against them.
Miles Sanders is looking really good.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts is absolutely dominating. MVP candidate for sure.
Yep.
He's got AJ and Devontae going, cooking. Dallas Goddard's been great. The defense is on fire. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right, Sunday Night Football. We got the Bengals traveling to Baltimore. Division rivalry here, taking on the Ravens. This will be a good one.
This will be a good one. I'm surprised to see the world be so lopsided in this sense.
Yeah.
So the Ravens, like it's shame on me. So last year, every time I picked against them, they won. So this year is actually on their train. They lose. So I'm annoyed. I'm just pissed at them. It's just I can't figure them out. And again, the 2 losses they have, they should have
won both games.
They should be 4-0, but they're not.
4-0. Yep.
So that does still say something. Like even though you should be 4-0, you're not, and there's a reason for that. The Bengals, on the flip side, like they should not be 4-0. They had no reason to lose those
they
games.
should be because they lost 2 games early that they absolutely should not have lost.
But in those games, they looked gross.
Yep.
Whereas at least the Ravens, they didn't look gross. So I'm actually going to go with the upward trending team here, Cincinnati, because this is going to be a great matchup. I think it's going to be super close. But I'm going to go with Cincinnati, just showing that they're kind of getting back over the hump. They're spreading the ball out. You know, T. Higgins is really stepping up. Jamar Chase is doing fine, but you know, it's been more of kind of a little better distribution wise. So I'm going to go Cincy just because they want to make a statement, and I think this will be it.
Yeah, this is for me. This is an absolute coin flip.
Yep.
I really don't know because, like what we talked about, both these teams should be 4-0. I mean, you can call it momentum that the Bengals have won the last 2. The Ravens have been like win-loss kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the Ravens they know, I think they're confident they can hang with anybody after hanging with the Bills and hanging with the Dolphins.
They played the entire AFC East. Let's be honest. 2 good teams there.
True.
They beat the 2. They lost. They split the 2 good teams. No, they lost to both good teams.
They lost to the good teams, the Bills and the Dolphins. But they should have won both those games, as you talked about. You know,
yeah.
So maybe they're not totally tested because they also played the Patriots and the Jets, the Flacco Jets revenge game. Look out. I don't know. The Bengals can't run the ball. I don't know what's going on with Joe Mixon, but like he'll get like 25 carries for like 60 yards. I mean, that is not effective. Their line got worse somehow.
Yeah.
Bateman's banged up for the Ravens, so I don't love that. I hope he can go. T. Higgins has been tough to guard. The Ravens secondary has not been great. I'm just saying a bunch of stuff to buy myself time here because I don't know who to pick.
Because you don't know your pick yet.
I don't know who to pick.
Go to the wheel of names. Just pick it for you.
You know what? I'm just going to go Ravens just to be different.
Okay.
Just to be different from you, and I think it's Sunday Night Football. It's at home. They've got to feel like, man, we've got to win some of these. We're gonna have a tough schedule all year, so we got to win some of these games.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Dobbins is back and healthy, and he's going to get better each week. I don't know.
It's weird that this is their first divisional game. Again, it's just odd that they played the entire AFC East first, but whatever, all good.
Yep. I do worry. I mean, I think you're right that the Bengals are getting right. They're getting things figured out. So
Zach Taylor's officially off the hot seat now, where he's good. He's good.
Goodness, right?
All right, now we got the Raiders challenging the Chiefs in Kansas City.
Yeah, man, this is one where I think preseason we thought can't wait to see the fireworks here. If you remember last year, the Chiefs hung like 88 points over 2 games on the Raiders. I think it was like 88-10 or something insane.
Yeah.
Just absolutely slaughtered them. So the chip is going to be on the shoulder for the Raiders for sure. And they've gotten better. They've added, obviously, you had Devontae Adams. You're better. Man, what I saw from the Chiefs last week against the Bucks, hard to get that out of my mind.
The defense,
so
man.
I got to go Chiefs. I like the talent, honestly, on the Raiders better, but the Chiefs are getting it. And Mahomes is obviously the best player on both teams, so he's getting it done. And tough to stop that dude when he's rolling.
Playing in Tampa against that defense to be able to do what he did. I mean, that's just you dropped 41 on him, and that's on a Bucks defense. And even on the flip side, the Chiefs defense looked good against Tampa. I mean, I know that Tampa ended up scoring in the 30s, but a lot of it comes towards the end. Didn't really matter as much. So I think that's more of the surprising side. It's just that their defense is playing so well. And the Raiders, until you can prove it again, I mean, they're not there yet. And so I'm going KC.
Yeah, this could be another shootout, though. I think
it could
be. Get both these teams in your lineups.
Yes.
Make it happen.
So let's see. We got to do our tiebreaker, total points. Did you go
points.
first last time? I think you went first last time.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to go 48.
Yeah, I'm going to go over that. I'm going to go with 56.
Okay.
And I think that might even be low.
That might even be low. Fair. All right. There it is.
There you go.
Woo.
Boom.
There are our picks. So we had what, 2 or 3 different?
Yeah, we had a few.
Just a couple.
2 or 3 in there.
All right. It'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, maybe I can just kind of slowly come back in.
I was surprised when you took the Falcons over the Bucks, but otherwise, I predicted most of your picks.
Okay. Falcons over Bucks. My squad. All right, man. Well,
the moment everyone's been waiting for.
The moment for some Troy trivia. That's right. Flashback to 2003. Let's go back to the biggest movie at the time, Troy.
Was it even? I don't even remember this being that big of a movie.
I mean, it was highly touted just because of the cast and, of course, like the budget. It was huge. It did okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I feel like I mentioned the movie, and I'm always surprised that people have seen it. I'm like, oh, nice. You saw that?
Oh, you saw that. Okay, so this is not one of my trivia questions, but a random trivia question for you. So hint, it's not Troy. What is Brad Pitt's highest grossing movie? You are not going to get it.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape? I'm not going to get it.
So if you guessed World War Z, you were correct.
Oh my God.
World War Z. Like, it's so crazy because he's been in so many good movies. He's been so great in a lot of movies, but they're not like big box office smashes. And so when World War Z came out, I don't know if you probably didn't see it. Classic zombie flick. It was based off a book, but it had nothing to do with the book. It's a great book.
It just had the title, right?
Literally, that was it. And like maybe some of the same character names, but that's probably it.
Yeah.
But like when it did surprisingly well, like, fun fact, highest grossing movie for Brad Pitt.
That's wild.
Wow.
I was a big fan of all the Ocean's movies. So
right.
I'm in on Ocean 11, 12, 13, all of them.
All right. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. One is an annoying question, so I'm trying to use it. I'll say that for the end.
Let's try not to annoy anymore. That got really bad. Well, that turned into really bad radio here.
It was more of a fun one. But anyway, so we'll start off easy.
Okay, if you say so. This is a 2004 movie. All right. Now, I will admit, I do watch this. I've mentioned to you off the air. Like, this is one of those movies where if my wife's out of town or something, and I got the kids to bed, like, I might throw Troy on. Now, I'll probably be doing something else while I'm doing it because
not full focus.
I've seen it a bunch, but I have seen this a good amount of times, and it hasn't been 20 years since I've seen it. So
I feel like because of you, I'm gonna have to throw it back on there because again, I remember watching it; and it was solid. I just haven't rewatched it.
I just love watching like and they even say in the movie, like the way he moves is different. Like, I don't know. Achilles is just such a sweet character.
Well, just that first scene where he's like jumping to get that big dude, just one swipe, dead. Got him.
Yep.
All right. So this is kind of like a non-movie question, but it's part of the movie. When filming, I know.
I already hate you.
When filming,
you're such a
what
jerk.
Part of his body did Brad Pitt injure? Just think. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's Achilles tendon.
Yes. So that's the ironic. I wanted to start. I was kind of like ironically, they had to shut filming down for 5 months because he injured his Achilles tendon.
Really?
Yes. Okay.
I've never heard that before. That's really wild.
1 for 1. What was the relation of Patroclus to Achilles?
That was his cousin.
That was his cousin. Good job. All right, so this is one where you're going to get mad at me for, but I think you might. This will be a throw-in. So this one won't count, but if you get
Bonus point in the middle of the round.
Yes. Name another movie, and a hint for you is it's a favorite of yours, that the actor who played Patroclus was in. If you want another hint, look behind you.
If I want another hint, it's one of the posters on my wall. Was he in Friday Night Lights?
He was in Friday Night Lights.
Wait, was he he wasn't the fullback, was he?
He was the fullback. There
Tim
you go.
McGraw's kid?
Yep. I'll give you that point because you pulled out the position. So
now that you mentioned it, yeah. Well, I'm just thinking of his face,
Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Oh man.
Patroclus. Played fullback. Good job.
That's awesome. I'm
All right.
his name right now too. I can't think
So I'm going to give you that point. So that's 3 for 3. Who killed King Menelaus?
Hector.
Correct.
Yeah, he was fighting Paris.
Why though?
Yeah, he was fighting Paris, and Paris ran away because he was about to get killed. He was about to get his head chopped off, actually. And then Hector was like, "Not on my watch." Pulled out his sword,
got him
right through him.
Yep, killed King Menelaus. So that was not bueno. Made Paris look super bad, and Hector should not have done that. But anyway,
well, it's his brother.
It is his brother.
Should not have done it. I mean, they're already in a war. It's not like
it's true. There was,
and to Hector's point, it's like they're not going to turn around even if you do this fight. Like it's not just going to turn around 1,000 ships. 50,000 men or whatever.
Paris lost tons of honor for that.
He did lose a lot of honor for that. He looked very weak. He almost left the sword of Troy behind too.
He did, but then he gave it to who? Do you know who he gave it to? It's not my official question.
It was Hector's wife, right?
Yeah. So Hector had his wife, who gave it to Paris, and then Paris gave it to someone when they were escaping.
I thought it was Hector's. No, you know what? There's a whole story behind that. I thought it was Hector's wife, but there's a whole story because the person he gave it to in the myth actually went and like reestablished Troy or something.
According to the movie, it was Aeneas. Is that in your Greek mythology ring true?
Yeah, I think that's true.
Because Paris is going back in there, and some people were escaping, and he gives it to this boy.
That's right.
So anyway, that was not.
There's a whole story that goes from that, I think, in mythology.
Oh, all right, fair. All right, 4 for 4. Here comes number 5. Who came up with the idea for the Trojan horse?
Odysseus.
He was watching a soldier.
Carve a horse for his kid.
You got it. He came up with the idea for said Trojan horse. So there you go. 5 for 5, man.
Well, you had 6. You said. Is this an annoying one?
Did you want the random annoying question?
The random annoying question. Funny. You know what? I'll take it, but I'm already annoyed by just the fact that you even called it an annoying random question.
Well, it's not annoying. It's just a random, and it's just kind of funny that this was even a trivia question. So when Hector goes to confront Achilles, reverse it. When Achilles goes to confront Hector, because Hector killed Patroclus, thinking it was Achilles, though, in his defense. So he's standing at the gates. How many times does Achilles yell Hector?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
I'll give you.
Well, there are also some like in the background when you see Hector, you can hear him in the background yelling his name. I wonder if that counts. I would have guessed in the movie. I would guess
in the movie
it's 8 to 10, somewhere in that range.
You are correct. The number was 9. The number was 9 times. Hector.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being Hector at that point? Like,
oh my God, I would be crapping myself so hard right then.
Like, no,
because Hector had already seen him fight. He'd already been basically. Spoiler alert. Sorry. He'd already seen him fight. He'd already been like let loose by him, basically. Like he was like should have been dead already.
Yep.
And Achilles is like, go home. It's too early in the day for killing princes. Lets him go back to his castle to Troy.
Yep.
He'd already seen Achilles throw a spear like someone he'd never seen before in his life.
Yeah.
I mean, he just did some super cool stuff. I thought when you were talking about the big jump stab, which he did in Apollo's temple as well. I thought you were going to hit me with that trivia on Boagrius, the big guy that he got.
Yeah, I was thinking about it.
Yeah. Agnes!
He just comes and you're dead.
Achilles! And nothing.
He's asleep.
Sleep with a bunch of broads.
Yep. Well, there you go, man. Clearly is one of your movies. You got them all right. Even the crazy. How many times did he yell Hector? 8 to 10 times. It was
That's
mine.
true.
8 to 10. Very fair. So well done.
I wonder in the real myth, if in the mythology, like I wonder if that is listed anywhere. If they mention
he calls
he yelled for 100 days or something. Like it's probably
times.
Probably something like that, where he's like 100 days in a row. He went up to the game and screamed for Hector. You know,
yeah. Could have been. All right, so that's good for trivia. Troy trivia.
We're back on track with not pooping our pants on trivia. we got a little off track there.
Yeah, we did. That's fine though. We're back.
All right, let's give an update on our Run Your Pool Fantasy Challenge.
Let's do that.
Yeah, so
I crushed it again. I got a whopping. Hey, hold on. I crushed it. I got 103 points. So I'm just saying that's a good number of points. 100.
If that were a math test and that was with extra credit, that'd be fantastic.
See, what I'm saying?
I had 171, so quite a few more.
That was over 2 tests, so that's actually like an 85.
It's a B average, yeah. So I'm now up by 116 points after 4 weeks. That's a big margin. Now it's a long season. We said this a lot, and with this game in particular, we're both saving studs. You're probably saving more studs than I have so far.
And actually, you're going to forget to make your picks 1 week, so you'll get a donut. So that'll help.
Well, I am the commissioner. I can always go back and put it in.
That would be against the rules.
I already did it one time.
All right. So let's go with our teams, shall we? Let's alternate. So I'll start with my quarterback. I got TB12 himself, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Yeah, that's a good pick. I almost went that route as well. I went with Mahomes in that shootout Monday Night Football.
Yep.
Coming off a big win in Tampa, I'm like, man, the dude looks so good. I just got to keep rolling with him.
Good call. That's a very good call. I'm going with Tom Brady's teammate, old Uncle Lenny.
Uncle Lenny, man, I hope so. I've got so much Uncle Lenny in my leagues. I hope this is the week he just blows up. Yeah. I'm going back to one thing I mentioned earlier, which is you can run on the Lions. I'm going with Damien Harris, your boy, in a heartbreaker as he just runs all over your Lions pick. Damien Harris, someone who I'm not even really that high on normally.
I know, right? You are not. I'm going with your boy, the king himself, Derrick Henry.
Chugga, 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 choo, choo. Let's go. D-Hen going to be running all over them Commanders.
Yeah.
Here's hoping. I'm going to go with a guy I don't like at all, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I'm going to go with CEH on this one. Again, a lot of points scored in this Monday night game. And I'm also part of this is like a little bit worried that as the season goes on, he's going to start losing some of his job.
Yep.
Like he's played well enough to not lose his job.
Yeah.
But if he has a couple dud games, Pacheco's in there.
True.
So I'm going to go ahead and use him while he's hot.
It's Panchero.
It's Panchero's brother, Pacheco.
I'm going with his former teammate, one Tyreek Hill. I know we kind of talked about it that, Teddy Bridgewater's not as many big plays, but if he hits him on a slant, that could be just a huge big play. And I'm hoping that he kind of breaks some of those. So going with Tyreek.
Yeah, I liked that matchup against the Jets, obviously, but wanted to save him for when he had Tua back.
And he had Tua back.
Ideally, or at least a game where you got to break the top open or whatever. I'm going with Terry McLaurin. Has not had a great start to the season. The Titans can't cover anybody, so I'm going to say hopeful. It's maybe the wrong word, but I'm hopeful that he has a big week this week. Not big enough for them to win, of course, but I think he's going to get plenty of action. I think Curtis Samuel will be back this week too. Dotson, I think, is out this week. I think he's injured. Probably not going to play, so even more emphasis on McLaurin.
Okay. I'm going with Chris Olave as my second one, just because kind of riding him while he's hot and still while they're not fully back, at least on the receiving core, so maybe get him more looks. And just kind of riding him right while he's going well. Yeah,
it's a great play as long as Thomas is out too, right? And we don't know if he's going to play or not. I'm going to go with T. Higgins. He's been so money to start the season. I'm going to go ahead and use him. Keep it rolling in this shootout with the Ravens.
I was going to say the Ravens are showing they will give up a lot of yardage to wide receivers. So, all right, had to finally go big on my tight end. Going for the shootout, Travis Kelce. I just had to.
He only got me 10 points. Like I got him on the 1 week he was down. It was just awful. So I'm worried about this one. I'm going Dallas Goddard, who's had a great season so far. Rock solid, double digits, I think, in every game. I have him in one of my leagues. He's been great for me. I'm going to go Goddard and I'm using all the best tight ends every week.
It's a good move. You missed my Tyler Conklin pick. But going with kicker, going with Buffalo Bills, Tyler Bass.
Tyler Bass.
Going a little shootout against Pittsburgh, so maybe a lot of field goals. Let's hope for that.
I think I used him last week. I'm going to go Greg Joseph, Minnesota.
I used him 2 weeks ago.
You did. That's true. I'm thinking that the Bears defense is solid, and so maybe they hold them to more field goals. I don't know. It's in a dome. I always like that with kickers.
There you go.
Whatever.
All right, for my flex, I'm going with the guy who's been extremely hot, and Miles Sanders, just keeping it up right now, just because, I mean, he could get hurt, he could start splitting more time, but right now he is the lead dog. So once again, kind of like Chris Olave, riding him while he's hot.
Yeah, that's a great call. I almost went that route. I'm going in the passing game more with Philly. I'm going with Devontae Smith in my flex. He's been coming on strong these last couple weeks as well. I think they're going to open it up, and I'm going to use him while he's hot.
Okay. And then, spoiler alert, I already told you, going with my Niners defense.
Yep. I'm going with the Jags this week against Houston. Davis Mills threw a couple picks last week. Jacksonville's a better defense than he played, so I'm going to go with the Jags. They've been pretty hot. I think they're playing really well. It's at home. Let's go.
All right. Well, there you have it. So, just to recap, here are our teams. I'm going with Tom Brady, Leonard Fournette, Derrick Henry, Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, Travis Kelce, Tyler Bass, Miles Sanders, and the Niners D.
That's a heavy lineup, dude. That's
heavy.
That's a pretty heavy lineup. And I mean, I've had 4 of those so far. So, I mean, this is going to be a catch-up week for you. I got Mahomes, Damien Harris, CEH, Terry McLaurin, T. Higgins, Dallas Goddard, Devontae Smith, Greg Joseph in my kicker, and the Jags defense. This is going to be one of those where if I can hang with you at all, it's going to be just because of the matchups.
Yeah.
And that's all I can hope for at this point.
All right. Well, it'll be a fun one. Woo. All right. So we got week 5 all previewed already. Big game tonight. We're going to start off tonight, right? Can't wait to see that one. And yeah, it'll be an exciting round of games. Some really good matchups. A lot of high fireworks. Going to be hopefully some action. And then obviously a couple duds, but aren't there always? But I feel like there were less duds this week. Am I wrong?
Yeah, not as many. I mean, the ones that we were worried might be duds kind of ended up being shootouts. So I'm not mad about that.
Not mad about it. So
Yeah.
Anyway, got a lot of fun games coming up. Hopefully a lot of fancy implications. Hopefully Kemper and I can kind of get out of the basement this week. We need to kind of keep rising the ranks. But again, it's a lot
Go
of
Russell Wilson. Once you're back,
Russell
I'm
Wilson.
good. I'm getting healthy. Yeah. I got Godwin back.
Jared
Let's go.
Goff. Keep it rolling against the Pats. Let's go.
There you
man.
go.
Anyway, so until next time, keep on folding.
Fold it.